Hello everyone, my name is Praveen Solanki and today we are going to discuss about record management in Microsoft 365. Let me share my screen and we'll get started. So where to find the record management? So to find that record management, you have to first go to compliance site in the SharePoint or Microsoft 365. So you click on SharePoint, go to the admin site, and over there you will see show all and click on compliance. Under compliance, you have variety of things, right? So we're not going to talk about all these things today. Today focus is just on record management. You might know that in market we have so many record management system available, uh, like IBM has, HP Trim has, and some other companies also do have record management systems. And why do we need record management? That's the first question, right? So a lot of government organizations or healthcare organizations and all these companies do have to comply with the regulations, which means that some companies have to have their record being retained for 15 years or for 25 years. Now, how do you make sure that those records are complied as per government rules? So that's why record management is very critical for the organizations. But there are a few challenges that happens for organizations to, manage the working documents and the records because both of these systems are separate, or I would say used to be separate. But now Microsoft, what they have done, they have integrated record management system so well with Microsoft with the whole suite, and we're going to talk about that in short time. So let me just showcase, that how normally users work. So example, I'm in a sales and marketing team as an end user, and my focus is just to upload documents, and keep updating and just publishing those documents. I don't know what policies has been defined in the back end, but I just know that whenever I want to set any document as a record, I can just select that record, like share sales report 21. I can go over here and I can see that there are many labels available for me to apply. So I say, okay, this is a finance document. As soon as I do that, that document will be marked as a record. So as you can see over here, we have an indicator where an item is a record, yes or no. So if it item is no, then I can actually delete that item. So example, I can just select any this document and I can say delete and it will be deleted. So not a problem. I can go to recycle bin for the document and I can just restore those documents back. So now the thing is, if I try to delete any document that has been locked over here, like as you can see, it's a record. And so if I select this document and I try to delete it, I will get the message that operation has been disabled by the policy. What does it mean? That now, since this item has been declared as a record, as a user, I can't delete it. And if I try to open this document and try to edit this document, I can't either edit this document as well, right? So as you can see, I can't even change the file name. I can't do anything with this document. So now this document is locked and it's just read only there. Now comes the interesting part, right? So example, if you are a business, right, who are giving this flexibility to the users that, what, you have declared a document as a record, right? And then you want to work on that document as well. And that's a very, very practical scenario where users are creating policies and procedures and they go there and then they update those as well. But as per guidelines, as a record, I have to maintain the copy of the document the moment I say that is being declared as a record. So what does it mean by that? So in this number 21, if I go and see the version history, so currently this is 1.0 and this item is being declared as a record. If I click over here and just, um, sorry, just on this one, if I click on record status, if I click unlocked, so this item will be unlocked for me for editing. But the interesting thing we will see over here in the version history, right? I see that there is a record being created, right? So what does it mean is that now this 2.0 is actually a record and I can't do anything with this one. I can't delete it. So if I now go on to sales report 21, I can actually update my document. And so this document has been updated and it will be saved as well. So now for user perspective, right, it's really great that I can actually go to the same document and I can update the document. But from record management perspective, also is really nice that the document that I'm working already has a copy of a record. So this document was declared as a record when it was this version, and I can't do anything with this one. If I try to delete it, it won't allow me to delete the document. So that's how it is work. So again, let me go back to the record management center in the compliance center. So over here, we have this record management. And over here, I can see there are a lot of file plans. So just understand file plans are your labels that you create based on your business requirement. So you might have a business requirement that your finance document will need to be retained for 5 years and your legal document need to be retained for 3 years. And you could have a document, right, that needs to be retained for 10 years or indefinite as well. So let me create one label for you. So when we create a new retention label, I'll give it a name. So the name of the label that I'm going to provide over here is my, give it a name as legal policy 1 and give it next over here. So each retention label that we are creating should have a unique reference ID. So I can put LEG 12, and then over here I can select the department in business functions. So I can say it's based on legal, and you can actually create new business functions or department if those departments are not available in the list as well. Then I go and create category. So what I'm actually looking for over here is not available in those categories. I can definitely create a new category as well. So I'll just go ahead and say that I'm actually trying to capture anything that is related to the contracting. And I can select subcategory as well. So there is no subcategory, but I can create new one. But for this one, I just let it go. Then I have authority type. So whether the retention label that you're creating is for business or is legal requirement or is regulatory requirement. So I will say it's a legal requirement. Choose, and then I can have provisions and citation as well. So these are the one that is given by Microsoft default. You could actually create a new one that I stay in Victoria. So we can say, that as per Victorian government. So I can have created a new citation for that as well. So let me just select this one and I say next. So over here, right, we have 3 settings available for label. Either we can retain items forever or for a specific period of time, or we can say enforce actions after a specific period or just label items. So I will go with the retain items forever for a specific period of time. Click next and retain items for how many years, right? So you can say 5, 10. So I can say, okay, this is for 10 years and start the retention period. So you have to decide as per your business requirement that when do you want to calculate the retention period? It's the item was last modified or item was labeled or item was created, right? So I'll go with the item was created. You can see there are others as well, for example, based on the employee activity or event type or expiration or product life cycle. So imagine in the employee activity, you could have a scenario where an employee is leaving the organizations and as part of policy, you are capturing their OneDrives and all those information. But as a regulatory requirement, you have to get rid of those documents after 7 years of the time. So then that retention will start in that way, right? So basically, when the employee leave, then retention level will automatically get applied, and then after 7 years, right, we can decide what should happen with their document. So I'll just select with when item were created, and so retain items even if user deletes, yes, or I would say mark as a record. So when I say mark as a record, then it will be allowed as record and click on next. So over here, we can say what happens after the retention period, right? So do we want to delete the item manually or we want to start a disposition review, change label, or we can have like run a full Power Automate flow as well and have many business requirements that these people should get to know whenever a document is being um, completed the retention period. So I will go with the start the disposition review. So what will that means is that I can create as many stages I want, and that will trigger the disposition review. So I can say in my organization, I have a user called Pradeep, and he is the governance guy and he takes care of disposition. So I want him to get notified and to review the documents. So that's done. Over here, if I click next and I say create label, and once the label is being created, some time, then we will going to create a policy using that label. So what will that means is that in the policy, so as you can see, your retention label is created. You can publish this to Microsoft locations, or you can auto apply this label to a specific type of content type as well. So you can define content types and you can actually automatically, apply this label to those content types as well. So I'll go with the publish this label in Microsoft 365 location. Click on done. So over here, right, it's asking me, this is administrative unit. So I'm going to go with the full directory. Click on next. So we can have adaptive scope or static scope. Adaptive scope is useful when you want to apply a retention label only to a department or a site URL, right? So in that is how it works. So let's say I go with a static one and I want to apply it to my all locations. So I'll say, let me choose location over here. I can publish this label to even Exchange mailbox, SharePoint. So for this scenario, I would not choose Exchange mailbox. Either I will use OneDrive. I will just go with SharePoint Classic and communication site and our Microsoft 365 group email sites. So please select this one if you want to capture a document that are stored in the Teams as well. So click on next and I'll give a unique name for the policy. So I will say it's legal policy one, click on next and submit. So what happens is that when you submit the labels, right, for the publishing, they will not be available as it is, right? They will take at least a day. So over here, as you can see, I have just published legal policy one. It's been published. But if I go back over here and try to find out that whether I can see this label or not. So take an example over here. If I select this document and here I try to collect label, I will not have the legal one, right? And this is the old